UFC Fight Night Baku, Azerbaijan is happening this Saturday, and Khalil Rountree just got some new customs, and they are so cool looking. So that makes a lot of different fighters who have custom fight kits at this point. I wanted to release a list of the top 15 fighters with their own custom fight kits in the UFC. And I got all reminiscent before I made this video, and I thought back to the days of old whenever I would watch Anderson Silva highlights, and he'd always be wearing these Nike Pro Combat Vale Tudo shorts. They were yellow, and he was a Nike sponsored athlete back whenever they didn't view MMA fighters as a complete and total brand risk. It was glorious, man. I'd totally wear these to bed. Number 15. Don't roast me, you guys. Don't flame me for this. I don't like the way that these shorts look. Charles Oliveira's custom fight kit, I think it was a solid concept, but it really did fall flat in terms of execution. The layered building designs, they're meant to look like the Brazilian favelas, but they actually just look like Charles Oliveira's wearing the tablecloth. Whenever he was fighting Michael Chandler in their second fight and he was wearing these shorts, I was like, man, those are so lame. They appear as cheap to me, and I don't understand the color choices in context of him being from Brazil. Moreno's shorts are red, white, and green. He's Mexican. Merab's are the colors of the Georgian flag, red and white. He's Georgian. These shorts seem to be more focused on the favela as his background than him being from Brazil. In general, I dislike the custom fight kits that don't reference the country of the fighter who wears the kit. Without Du Bronx plastered across the side of the thigh there, these wouldn't even be possible to identify as a custom fight kit made for Charles based off of the design. People may disagree, but I think that these are the worst customs for sure. Number 14 is going to be Dustin Poirier. The golden gloves that they used to use for title fights whenever they had the old gloves before they replaced them with the old gloves, the old gloves. I think that it made certain custom fight kits look so much better. Like this one. That's Dustin Poirier wearing the black gloves there. He fought in the gold ones. I'll put a picture of it up. It sucks that they didn't keep the concept of the gold gloves for the title fights and to just paint the old gloves gold for title fights. That was a good idea. I thought it was cool how both the champion and the challenger got to wear golden gloves. Dustin Poirier wearing this fight kit with the golden gloves looked ridiculously hard. That was just the fight with Islam though. Now he's going to be wearing the black gloves in a fight with Max Holloway very soon, and that guy's also going to be wearing some Hawaiian board shorts. I get that this is an allusion to the fact that he normally wears a Hawaiian shirt to the pressers and face-offs, but I don't know, it feels kind of chintzy and tacky to me. And this could just be because I don't care much for the multicolored sets, and I think that these are going to look ridiculous without the golden gloves, since the gloves complemented some of the warmer colors on the pants. These two closely resemble a shower curtain in my opinion. I don't think that they go hard at all. So number 14 is going to be Dustin Poirier. Number 13 is going to be Max Holloway, his opponent for UFC 318. I try to stay quiet about the fact that I don't like these, because I feel like a lot of people on the internet actually do really like the way that these look, but I think they're hideous. I genuinely think that the floral Vale Tudo shorts are ugly, and I really like what's happened for Max or to Max while he's worn these shorts, however. Even if I don't care for the way that they look, this is a legendary pair of pants for the two fights that he's worn them in. A classic with Justin Gaethje that he won by KO at the very end after controlling the striking exchanges for 5 straight rounds. And then he got into an insanely violent fight with Ilia Topuria, who flatlined KO'd him wearing these shorts. I like both fights equally for different reasons, and the floral boards were there each time, so credit where credit's due. This is a legendary pair of trunks. Holloway having so much pride in being Hawaiian makes it no surprise as to why he chose this design on the shorts, but I just don't think that anyone who isn't him could pull this off. They have the model there for the UFC website, who I put the PNG of. He looks like a doofus wearing these. These were made for Max Holloway, and the fact that they look horrible on anyone else who tries to wear them, I'm not sure if that makes them bad customs or good customs. I think that the best customs, in my opinion at least, would look good on any fighter. Holloway's are uniquely his, but like I said before, to me they're just kind of weak. These shorts have seen some of the most violent fights in the promotion's history though, so there isn't really anything that you can say love them or hate them. I still think that they take the number 13 spot on this list. Number 12 is going to be all of the purple shorts. I think that they're just tough in general. I think it's cool how all colorways that are part of the base pack, they added purple to them, but red, yellow, gray, black, white, blue, all these colorways are available in all styles of cuts. And this is true about the purple ones too, because we see the Vale Tudos there on Ian Gary, we see the Muay Thai half cuts on Brendan Allen, and then another pair of Muay Thai half cuts on Joaquin Buckley. And Luana Santos, who's a woman fighter, even wore a purple fight kit, and I thought that she looked really cool wearing that. These may have issues with quality as opposed to other colorways though, because I think that Buckley shorts ripped and they had to replace those in his fight with Usman just recently. And then also Ian Gary's shorts against Carlos Prates did rip, and he had to change those out in between rounds. I think it's really cool for a fighter who normally wears red or yellow as their national fight kit to randomly pop out in a purple one. A lot of different welterweights prefer to use this fight kit as well, since it is readily available now. Ian Gary, Joaquin Buckley, Michael Morales, I think, knocked out Gilbert Burns wearing purple shorts. The Muay Thai set for women is ridiculously hard, as I discussed before. Nobody has sole claim ownership over this colorway. Luana Santos can wear purple, so that means anyone on the roster can. Number 11 is going to be very signature. This is the first pair of customs ever introduced to any fighter on the roster. They were given to Bryce Mitchell. It's his camouflage shorts. I think they're only less goated for the fact that the guy who exclusively wears them only got a twister that one time, and then he's just been a 500 fighter at the top of featherweight ever since. He did beat Dan Ige, though, in the middle of getting chinned by Josh Emmett and losing to Ilia Topuria, I believe. But he's no longer a featherweight. He's seeking to reinvent himself as a bantamweight in Abu Dhabi against Saeed Nurmagomedov on July 26th. I think him holding on to the mantle of being the country boy and representing himself as one through these shorts is important for him, no matter what he does in his career. I think it's very cool that Dana gave Bryce these shorts, but he did it under the impression that Bryce was a grappler who was going to change the game. And even though he isn't this person, I'm glad that him losing certain fights doesn't mean that he also loses access to these trunks. And it would be cool if it opened up so that other people could use him and he'd be alright with it. Alex Pereira at the number 10 spot. I actually don't like these either. I'm not sure if these opinions are going to get me in trouble online, but this is just what I think, you guys. The only parts of this design that I like are the blue bands on the back and on the front too. I don't really care much for the patterns on the front, like where the groin area is, no diddy, and also like on the back under the band and where the name is on the hips and the thighs. Alex looks cool wearing them, so that's all that really matters, but you need a dubious amount of sauce in order to pull off a look like this one. Michael Chiesa can't just put on these fucking shorts and go and rock out. It doesn't work that way. There is printed on blood spattering on the waistband and over his name in gold, and I think that that's a very nice detail, especially in fights like his with Rountree where it was very bloody. They actually do look really cool whenever they get battle scarred from his fights. These shorts definitely feel custom. They're made to encapsulate his indigenous background while also alluding to his nickname of being Stonehands. There's little rocks, those little red designs. I think those are supposed to be rocks. I just don't really like these designs that much, and I feel like he could have had something better. But if he likes it, what does my opinion count for? Number 9 is going to be Alexander Volkanovski. I didn't understand the inspiration for these shorts until I saw the olive branch pattern and then the great written across the thigh. That would be the one that doesn't have his name on it. This is a clear reference to Alexander the Great, who that's Volk's fighter nickname, and this is a reference to the historical figure with the Grecian stylistic choices. I didn't understand what the significance of this name was past the fact that he calls himself that, but he does have a family lineage from Greece and Macedonia, which was the land where the OG Alexander hailed from, Macedonia. Volkanovski itself is apparently a Macedonian surname, and that's his father's side of the family, so it would be crazy to think about historical figure Alexander the Great actually looking just like Volkanovski. I couldn't imagine a lore-accurate Alexander rallying his troops and being like, "Stand up for yourself, eh?" and then singing a song with polished vocals afterwards as he led them all into battle. Very interesting that a pair of shorts can give you insight into the backgrounds of fighters because the elements of the design are inspired by their identities. This is a very cool idea. Whoever came up with custom fight kits, it's a very smart fella at the UFC. Number 8, Paddy Pimblett. Most base colorways should be added, I feel like. I think that all fighters should be able to use orange or pink or purple, like we just discussed that they can all use purple fight kits. If it's a solid color and there's no like special design on it that would make it so that it's unique to a certain fighter, I don't see why everyone can't use it. And you can't convince me that there aren't any other fighters on the roster who are asking to wear orange. And they should be able to, I think. The full color wheel should be on the table as far as what fighters should be allowed to wear. Imagine mint green fight kits or a brown fight kit or an off-white colored fight kit. These types of changes only improve the watching experience and will likely give all fighters new confidence to pursue KO highlights, since they will all feel good about being fresh as hell. This is such a clean pair of shorts. Number 7 is Leon Edwards. I think that he had gotten his shorts the same time as Paddy Pimblett on the same event. So he fought with Bilal Muhammad and lost his belt on the same night that we just saw King Green get finished in that triangle choke by Paddy Pimblett. I really like this fight kit. I don't like Leon Edwards as a champion, and I'm glad he doesn't hold the belt anymore. But these green shorts here, they're not the same green as the standard colorway. And they're lined with Jamaican flags and Union Jacks, as well as a repeating crown emblem to separate the flags. However you felt about Leon as a champion, however I felt about Leon as a champion of welterweight, these were at least top 5 in the time that they released. They were probably the best customs that any fighter had at the time that they came out. Them and the orange ones are actually pretty competitive with each other. The only reason why these shorts aren't glazed more is because the community has fallen off with the person who wears these. As soon as this guy got spilled by Bilal Muhammad in the fight wearing these shorts, nobody cared about Leon Edwards. And it was like this at one point whenever he was beefing with Jorge Masvidal. People viewed him as insignificant. He got high a little bit, he touched the title, and now he's right back to where he was, getting the 3-piece with the soda in the back rooms by Jorge Masvidal. People don't see him or respect him much more than they did back then. But one thing about the champion fight kits, I think that it's super clean how the gold lettering is on the thigh, and it stays consistent for all the fight kits worn by champions. On this pair of trunks, the gold lettering complements the green and white design really well. On some pairs of shorts, like Alex, whenever he was still champion, the gold lettering kind of just disappeared. On these trunks, the writing is always legible. I typically do not like the look of Vale Tudo shorts, but I feel like these ones would look worse in any other style of cut. I don't think that they would look as fresh if he was a guy who wore Muay Thai full cuts or Muay Thai half cuts. Number 6 is Dricus Du Plessis. DDP was getting pressed by Izzy for cultural appropriation in the buildup of their fight, but all Dricus has ever done is represent Africa and everything that he's ever accomplished in the UFC, and these shorts are proof that he isn't faking anything. Francis Ngannou's shorts, if he was still in the UFC, may not have even have been as on brand as Dricus is with the Africa love, since even Adesanya's don't feature the daishiki patterns that are clearly visible on Dricus's custom shorts. Just there in that photo, the lightning shorts and then Dricus's custom pair, one is definitely a lot more geared towards representing Africa than the other one. My favorite part of these though is the waistband. I'm a really big sucker for these custom fight kits whenever they do cool designs on the waistband. His entirely is a design of the South African flag, and it's repeating all the way around the belt. These are shorts that do not jump out like Max or Dustin's or Alex's, even though they do belong to a champion. I think that adding the South African themed designs to the same pair of green shorts that he would otherwise wear anyways, I think that this makes him even more signature. DDP throws on these shorts and becomes a Loa Mark, and he warms up by doing Naija dances in the back room while hitting pads. I respect Dricus a lot for not letting racist people online make him accept them telling him that he can't represent Africa because he's a white guy. People can't say this to bait him as long as he actually lives in the place he claims, which is something no other African champion has before him done to this point in the UFC. Many visit, but most champions from Africa that we've seen in the UFC, Kamaru, Francis, Adesanya, they celebrate their home countries while pursuing their dreams in America or New Zealand or some other Western nation. Dricus still lives in Africa after becoming its champ, and this is a cool ode to the place that he's from and getting this custom fight kit, and he represents the place well because he fights hard while wearing these pants. Number 5 though, I think is going to be Adesanya, just on the basis of the fact that I think that this is just a better design, and I think that it looks cooler. Whenever we got the news that he was going to get a custom fight kit Adesanya, a lot of dudes online, they started editing Chinese themed fighter kits on Israel Adesanya, and that's just because him being from China is a long running joke on the internet. These are pretty fire though. There's gold accents on these lightning bolts, and they cover what otherwise looks like a regular pair of black Venoms. And I think that the lightning is a really nice touch, and that these are a pair of shorts that are neutral enough to look good on anyone. It does seem like there was a bit less thought that was put into a pair of these shorts as opposed to something like Leon Edwards or Khalil Rountree shorts. But oftentimes less is more, and I really do enjoy these. I think these are super tough. Number 4 is Brandon Moreno. Who they give these custom fight kits and who they don't give them to, it seems kind of arbitrary at times. I think that every top-ranked contender should get a pair, or any fighter who is involved in a big matchup if it's taking place on a high-profile card. Moreno has been around forever, and he's won many times and is a 2-time champion in this division. He deserves some sauce, and they did hook him up with this kit that references ancient Mesoamerica with this depiction version of their serpent deity. I used to play him on Smite. The artist at the UFC in charge of designing Spanish-themed anything, they go so hard. The production of the sphere, since it was a UFC Noche card, was so tough. And these shorts are amazing too. And I hated on the Yair belt just because I felt like he didn't deserve it. But stylistically, I mean, I don't think it looked horrible. I think they gave Grasso a similar looking Mexican themed title, and they always cook using this art style. That dragon on Moreno's pants looks really cool, and the monster symbol that a lot of these guys add as their sponsor, it adds a lot to a lot of these fight kits as well. There's the gold lettering for the champions, and they can also put the monster symbol there. This is just like a cherry on top. The Muay Thai half cuts on Brandon Moreno using this design, they're freaking baller, and he won 2 really good fights while wearing them. Amir Albazi and Steve Erceg just recently. Number 3 is Up Toro Top Toro. I would have been so annoyed to have been whoever is in charge of this, going through the trouble of designing a pair of shorts for Ilia Topuria around the fact that his nickname is El Matador, only for him to then change his name to La Leyenda and waste all of my hard work since the pants don't even make sense anymore. If he did keep his old nickname because they didn't agree to make him a new pair of shorts for La Leyenda, that's very funny. What they ought to do is give Ilia like 5 different colorways of shorts to choose from whenever he competes. If he sleeps Volk, Max, and Charles consecutively, he should get to wear the custom pairs of all of the fighters that he's knocked out if he is able to accomplish the feat that I'm thinking that he's going to do super easily at UFC 317. I like all shorts with a gold trim. Ilia's are super clean, and I partially made this video because I've been playing UFC 5 lately whenever I get done uploading this content, and whenever I fight in featherweight, a lot of dudes like to use the alter ego of Ilia Topuria that was from the night where he knocked out Max Holloway, and I get pissed off because he's OP or whatever. Whenever I fight with a guy, I'm like, dude, those pants are actually really cool. I think it's definitely one of the best pairs that anyone has, and they belong to him. So number 3. Number 2 is going to be Merab Dvalishvili. Tell me why Merab quietly has the best looking custom fight kit out of any fighter on the roster. I noticed this whenever I was using a PNG of him for a video I posted about UFC 316 recently. The crosses on the front are hard, and these were boosted tenfold by the inclusion of 2 murals on each of the legs. One is a man who's riding a horse with a spear in his hand, and the other one is a man fighting with a tiger from a book possibly written by a Georgian. I think that an earlier revision either had less pronounced murals, or they just weren't there, like on the right side of the screen towards the bottom left. I think that iteration of the shorts was probably less than half as cool. They needed to add these murals. It definitely takes it up a lot. Like I said before, waistband designs usually capture my attention whenever we're talking about these shorts. Too many pairs of these fight kits have unique designs on them and then have the same old black boring waistband as every other pair of Venum shorts. These have the red trim all around them though. There isn't any black on these shorts, and that makes them very unique to me. This is the stuff of legends. A perfect amount of white, red, and gold on these. I would say that these are gonna be the best customs in the UFC, if not for the addition of Khalil Rountrees from earlier this week. Holy crap, dude. These are so cool. This is the first pair of customs that I saw announced, and then I immediately went to Google and I searched up Khalil Rountree custom UFC fight kit just to make sure that they were real because they're so cool looking. This is a 2-toned yin-yang design, and it partially represents the time that he spent training in Thailand and also his roots at home as a guy from Vegas. So we have the Thai lettering and a figure who looks like it's part of the region's folklore. We also have the mountains displayed underneath as a representation of Vegas. Shorts like these ones, they really need no backstory because they're so freaking fire. People are wondering what Khalil has even done to earn shorts that look this good, but I think this isn't the designers hooking up Khalil Rountree more than it is that they've just hit their stride. And we can probably expect for all custom shorts moving forward to be Zaza. It could be very well that his friends at that social club that he's a part of pulled some strings to make his custom shorts the best out of everyone's. But you know, when like in Family Guy, season 1 versus season 8, the animators just hit their stride and then all of the art looks good. I think that that's what we're going to start to see happen with these shorts. Moving forward, they're just about to start snapping on everything. So that's going to be the list, you guys. Just want to come on here, give my 2 cents on what I thought about stylistically, who's doing the best in the UFC. So please do like, comment, and subscribe if you made it to this point. We've broken 400 subscribers. We're on our way to 5 and then 1,000 very soon, you guys. I'm going to stay on the uploads. Please stay tuned in and have a wonderful day. I will catch you fellas.